Hello, in this video I want to share with you how I use intuition to guide my creative process. I'm Rosie, I am a graphic designer and I help business owners create elegant, timeless branding and graphics to help them attract their dream clients and have a long-lasting brand that they feel proud of. So in this video I want to share with you what I learned about how I use insight or intuition or whatever you want to call it, those flashes of ideas that you get from somewhere else that can help to guide your creative process. So I've been told by my clients in the past, my branding and design clients, that I have an intuitive approach to design, and I never really was sure, if that was really true. I just wondered if it was a lovely compliment, but actually I documented my most recent creative project that I started, and I found that I actually do use intuition in my creative process, and everybody has access to their intuition, and it's just knowing when to recognize it and to use it to help you in your creative projects to create something that's truly aligned with what you are trying to do with your vision, and that's aligned with your purpose and the purpose of the project. So what I did was I started my sales page for my new membership that's coming up, and I wrote all of the sales page copy, which is a tip that I learned from a lady called Evelyn Weiss, who teaches all about how to sell your offers and how to create amazing offers and things like that. She's amazing, and she always says to create your sales page first. So I did that. Then what I did was I popped it into the whole of my sales page. I popped it into ChatGPT, and I asked ChatGPT to help me with my branding, to help me come up with a theme for my branding for my new membership. And it kept coming up with all this color palette, and I kept trying to change it because originally I wanted my branding to be yellows and greens and have a very cottagey English garden kind of feel with a lot of florals and things like that. But actually I noticed when I was actually writing my sales page, I was getting visions of antique ships and Lake Como and lots of blue and things like that. So when I put into ChatGPT my sales page, and that I wanted it to create elegant branding, not create, but give me ideas for elegant branding and give me ideas for a theme, it kept coming up with the colour blue in the colour palette, and I didn't want blue, I wanted yellow. I wanted yellow and green. And the other thing that kept happening when I was creating my sales page copy was I kept getting the word journey coming into my head. And later on in the process of trying to come up with this theme for my membership sales page, I wanted a nice theme. I wanted it to tell a story, and ChatGPT came up with this idea of it being a journey. And everything all kind of made sense because I was having this vision of a ship, and I kept getting the word journey in my mind. And then the colour palette that ChatGPT was suggesting included blue, which blue symbolises stability, traditional, and things like that, security, things like that, and also clarity, I think. And it all kind of started to make sense. All these little thoughts and visions I was getting in my mind actually made perfect sense for my membership, because my membership is all about feeling secure in your branding, feeling confident, feeling stable, feeling like you can go move ahead with clarity because you've got this perfect branding that's perfect for you. And so it all actually made sense. And because I'd noted down these little insights I was getting, I ended up creating a theme and branding that involved going on a journey, going on an old antique ship, going on a journey and arriving, feeling calm, feeling stable, feeling secure, and all of these things that the colour palette that I eventually ended up with completely ties in with. And it all makes sense. So my intuition, normally I probably would have just dismissed it, because originally I was getting this feeling of Lake Como, and I was originally thinking my membership was going to be for creative professionals. It was going to be just for people in the wedding industry, wedding photographers. Often they go to Lake Como, so that that was in my mind, thinking, oh, that's probably just I'm thinking about wedding photographers and things like that. But over time, I decided I actually want my membership to be for everybody. You know, it's not just for creatives, it's for anyone who wants elegant, timeless branding. So, you know, then I realised that the Lake Como imagery wasn't about what I thought it was about. It was actually about, you know, this going on a journey, and the colours and everything were just right. So I noted all this down, and I came up with a few tips that I wanted to share with you to help you also use your intuition to guide your creative process. Because when you use your intuition, you're going to end up with something that's much more aligned and much more, you know, authentic. So the first thing to do is to note down any repeating feelings and thoughts that you might have. So keep track of recurring words, images or feelings. If something keeps popping up when you're planning a project, jot it down. For instance, Lake Como kept coming into my mind while I was conceptualising my current project. So I noted it down, and it later turned out to be very relevant to the branding I needed for my membership. So when I say intuition, what I mean is, and when I say repeating feelings or thoughts, I don't mean the thoughts that we all get every day that are kind of nagging thoughts or they're worrying thoughts. I don't mean those kind of repeating thoughts. What I mean is a random fleeting thought that comes into your mind and it feels good. It's something that feels right, it feels safe, it feels inspiring. That's your intuition. So if you get a feeling when you're doing something in your project and you get that inspired feeling, you know, when you sometimes suddenly feel really inspired or excited and you don't really know why, jot down what you were doing in your creative process, or, you know, even what you were thinking about, if you can remember what you were thinking about, but just jot it down and, you know, see if that happens again. And the other thing is, if you get some sort of vision in your mind or a thought, jot that down. If it makes you feel, like I say, inspired, if it makes you feel good, that's always a good sign that it's a really insightful, you know, message that you're getting about your project. So just jot it down and make sure that you know, record it so that you remember. And the other thing to do, you know, when you're using your intuition or your insight with your designs or your projects, make considered choices. So when you're sourcing imagery or graphics, it's important to choose elements that don't just look right, but also feel right. They need to capture the essence of your project's theme. So again, going back to those feelings, when you're sourcing imagery or you're creating graphics or anything like that, it might look good, but if it doesn't feel right, then that's probably not what you should continue doing, or, you know, you shouldn't move forward with that. You should maybe choose a different image. You know, you want to try to find things that give you that feeling of, oh yeah, that's the one, or it feels right, it feels inspiring. So try to be considered with what you choose. And the last tip is to trust your feelings over what you want. So initially, like I said, I wanted my project to have a very fine art floral English country vibe with pale yellow and green in the colour palette. However, this recurring thought of Lake Como led me to switch to blue, which symbolises tradition and stability, perfect for the project I'm creating. So I'm creating a membership that's based around helping people create branding that's timeless and elegant. So it's very kind of traditional, very classical, very long-lasting and enduring, which creates stability, because if you have an enduring, long-lasting brand, you can feel stable and you don't have to keep worrying about changing your branding all the time. And also, you know, my members will feel very confident in what they do. They'll know what their values are and all of that stuff, which helps them to feel secure. So that colour blue was so relevant at the time, you know, even though I was still just really wanted to use my yellows and greens, they weren't right for the project. So you need to trust your feelings over your wants. So I trusted what my insight was telling me, and I allowed myself to go with that. And in the end, I've ended up with a really beautiful branding that I absolutely love, and it just feels really right. So these are my tips for using your insight in your creative process. And it's supposed to be fun, it's not supposed to be daunting, but whenever you get, you know, any flashes of imagery or anything like that, and maybe it comes back a few times, jot it down, take a note, and just see where it guides you. And it's really interesting, actually, because I think I've always done this, but I've never actually noticed it before. And I think we all get insight, you know, we all have it. It's just that we don't sometimes know how to actually utilize it. And yeah, so I just wanted to share those tips with you, and I hope they help. And give it a try and let me know how you get on. Let me know if it works for you or not. And yeah, I hope you enjoyed this video, and I'll see you in the next one. Okay, bye.